I'm Thea Sarr. I'm the Executive Deputy Director of DiscoverE. And
is it going to click? It is. Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah. I'm the marketing manager, and I was a K-12 teacher, a public school teacher for 12 years until this year when I joined DiscoverE.
Yeah, we're so excited she's here. We already know who you are. Thank you for sharing. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about DiscoverE. And the E stands for engineering, Discover Engineering. And we like to say we put the E in STEM, or we hang out in the E part of STEM, and the A and the M and the S, but mostly the E. So we have some programs, chats with change makers, the Future City, Persist. But today we're really going to talk about Engineers Week and Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. And we have a whole ton of resources for everybody, more than anyone could possibly use, but we just like to let you know all the activities, challenge videos. We have a whole career section. We have outreach grants, which we'll talk to you a little bit about, and a free photo library, posters, artwork, all kinds of things, and we'll get into those today. So Future City, Discover Engineering, we reach about 5.5 million students and parents every year. And our goal, we want to get to 10 million. So that's what we are. And we really like to focus in on those historically underrepresented students and girls, because part of our mission is to broaden the number of engineers and technical professionals in the field. And we do that through all of you. About 300,000 volunteers and educators out there every year introducing and engaging kids to engineering. So thank you very much. The first question we always get is, what's this year's theme? For people who know us and love us, every year we have a different theme. And this year's theme is, you can already see it in our Zoom backgrounds, but creating the future. And this is our brand new motion graphic. We have this both for Engineers Week and for Girl Day. Sarah, do you want to tell people a little bit more about Engineers Week and Girl Day?
I would love to, if this thing is actually going to move to the next slide. Hey, yes, I can just manually move it. Engineers Week it's a time where we can get out there and just celebrate engineering. This is such a great profession in the midst of wonderful STEM cousins and siblings. And so it's a really good time for us to get out there and just spread the word on the fact that, as is fitting from our theme this year, engineers are creating the future. And then the other real big goal of Engineers Week is to engage students in engineering. And that can be all the way from the youngest, that the little girl from the picture a couple slides ago is the most adorable, all the way up into graduate students who could be going into STEM and engineering. So whoever it is that you're working with, we want to help you. We want to partner with you and make sure that you have everything you need to do that outreach and help us and help us help you. That's a Tom Cruise movie. I know that's a and so very specifically looking at Girl Day, this is a time, Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day is it's usually on the last day of Engineers Week, although I know that all of you
it's the Thursday of Engineers.
It's the Thursday, thank you. And that those events though happen all week. It doesn't necessarily have to happen on this day. And I do have a copy of this logo that doesn't have the date in case you're doing it on a different day. That's okay. Engage those girls and those who identify as girls, marginalized gender people into creating the future and engineering. We've got some resources for you to do that. So when you're celebrating engineers, we would love for you to go social. It is something that we're always looking at. It's something that we're making a big effort to get the word out there, especially for younger and younger kids. Although I'm on TikTok, I think everybody's on TikTok. Maybe not everybody, but most people, I think, that I know anyway. So go social, share a photo, post a message, share an inspiring story. We love to see those. We love to retweet those. We love to hear the wonderful things that you're doing and the wonderful things that your organization is doing. Would you tag us please, because I would love to be able to see those and engage with you and get you extra support if you need it. You can reach us kind of across the board on everything: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at DiscoverE.org. And then we've got some hashtags for you if you want to use them in February: eWeek 2023, Girl Day 2023. And then, of course, our theme this year is creating the future. So I'm still going. This is celebrating engineers. What are some things that you can do? First off, just tell people it's Engineers Week. You can invite special speakers for a lecture or a panel. There are so many amazing engineers doing amazing work that you could be inviting to come and speak to whichever group that you are organizing. There's inter-office competitions. Those are some of our favorite photos that we get every year. One of my favorites that really stuck out for me this year was the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers did some pizza-based inter-office competitions, and those were hilarious. Yeah. You can organize or attend Engineers Week lunch or dinner. You can nominate folks for awards, and you can also secure a public proclamation from an elected official. And we actually have wording for that on the website. So we've already done the heavy lifting. All you have to do is sign it and send it off to them. They're eager to help out and recognize the important contributions of engineers also. So we have lots of resources for you that are ready to go on our website right now. We have ads in color. I think the black and white one is going up later, but I know the color ones are up there right now. We have logo copies for you. We have all sorts of graphics, including the motion graphic. We have the 19 by 20 size. We have our aspect ratio. We have a 1080 by 1080. So both sizes of the social media that you need. We've got the Zoom backgrounds that Thea and I are rocking today. You can grab either one or both of them. We've got bookmarks in English and in Spanish. Our bookmarks all have a STEM activity on them. And the two that we've gone with this year are Bridging the Gap, where students are building a bridge. And then the other one is the Soap Boat, which is so much fun. I had way too much fun playing with it just in my sink the other day to test it out, and we're super excited about that one. We also have a variety of sample posts and copy. So for all of those of you who were in marketing that shouted out in the chat, hi, it's nice to see you. Thank you for being here. We've got your copy covered for you. It's there. And then all kinds of other customizable language that you can use. And excitingly this year, we have a new store with all kinds of things, more than what you see here. We have t-shirts that are long and short sleeved. We have hoodies, travel mugs, water bottles, baseball caps, sticker sheets, pop sockets. All of that can be found through our site. And then over to the actual store, I'll show you. We've got drawstring bags that are up there right now. So there's all kinds of things, and everything is available to be purchased in bulk also. We were really careful in selecting vendors that would be able to fulfill that. The stickers will be up later this week. They're not quite finalized yet. So we just wanted to get them perfect before we get them up there. But everything else is ready to go for you and ready to go for your orders so that you've got them in plenty of time for February.
Hey, Sarah, how do I get to this store or the downloadable resources from the website?
My gosh, I'm so glad that you asked. You just setting them up, knocking them down. This is the best. We're a great tag team. If you go to our website, which is DiscoverE.org, you're going to be able to come in, and there's a couple ways that you can get there. The easiest is head right on down to the bottom, and downloadable resources is right there in our footer. And you're going to go to this super beautiful, easily organized page. Shout out to Ellen, who really made a beautiful job of this. You can get to our official store here to purchase any of those products that you saw. All kinds of great dates are here, logos, the graphics, ads, the certificates got made, which are really gorgeous. There's a space there for you to sign them. Those are going to be great. And then the bookmarks, both the English and Spanish bookmarks are up there. The photo library, if you've never seen that, we have a full royalty-free photo library of images that you can use. You don't need to Oh, Maureen, are you seeing hey, you need to log in page? All right, we're going to take care of that. Don't you worry. Give me like the hour after this meeting and I will make sure that that gets taken care of. You can log in. All that's going to do is let you join our community so that you can receive emails about future Engineers Week and Girl Day activities. So love that. I'm just reading through a couple of these comments here. IEEE, hey, a virtual STEM summit. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Constance.
Hi, Connie.
Love that. And the downloadable logos at the Buffalo Museum of Science. Shout out Buffalo Museum of Science. Thank you. We're so glad that you did that. The proclamation is down there too. I wanted to shout that out. So you can get there by going to the bottom. Also, if you happen to be going to the Engineers Week page or the Girls Day page, there is a promotional resources tab that's going to be rerouting to the promotional resources. So again, the best way to get there is through downloadable resources in the footer, and then it'll take you right to our store too, which is really handy. Those hoodies are real nice. They're really, really great. So get a hoodie for yourself.
I can't wait to get mine. All right. Thanks, Sarah. So you can really see, oh, and Maureen found it. Yay, Maureen.
Yay.
And thanks, Connie, for the invitation. Maybe I'll come out to Chicago this winter. We're going to switch gears now. So we talked a lot about celebrating engineers and all the resources we have for promotion. But we also want to dive into a little bit about engaging students and how do we support a student's STEM identity? How do we nurture and grow? And Discover Engineering has really led and been part of a coalition of folks really diving into this question. And I'm sure a lot of you know this already, but just as a quick review, to help nurture and grow a student's STEM identity, step one is helping them develop an interest in and a positive attitude towards STEM. So what we know from that is a lot of kids don't even know, and a lot of parents and a lot of the general population don't know what STEM is. They don't know what engineering is. They don't know what technicians and technologists do. So being out there, introducing students to engineers and technologists and technicians is a great way to start developing their interest in positive attitudes. Helping them see the value in STEM and how it aligns with their personal goals. What do we mean by that? We mean really going beyond just I design satellites to say I design satellites that help detect drought, or I work at a wastewater management facility and that keeps all of our drinking water clean, and I can help support and I can help communities. So it's really tying in that what meaningful work you get out of. Sorry, Rebecca, I just saw your comment. You made me lose my train of thought about good-looking engineers saving the world. I love it. So really, how can we align STEM with their own personal values? And that's sharing personal stories. That's kids meeting other adults and college students and people on the STEM path so they can kind of see their future. Building their confidence in STEM skills. Sarah's going to talk a little bit later about open-ended, hands-on activities. That's really where they start to develop their confidence and really where they start to develop their skills and just keep ratcheting up their interest and their and the skill level. Support networks. It's not just you're part of the support network. Whether you're a volunteer going into an after school, whether you're in a museum, introducing it, a teacher, you're all role models and you're all those support networks for those students and can help them create a sense of belonging. We know that is huge for people in their STEM identity. You know, that word nerd or geek that some of us on the inside use, it actually can be a barrier for people who don't feel like they belong. So think about our language, think about how we're presenting it, and are we creating a sense that everyone is welcome and can be there. Next slide. So this is a formula that we came up with, and what are the pieces for engaging students? It's positive engineering messages. How we talk about engineering, what we share about engineering and technology is equally important to doing those hands-on activities. Is equally important to the student-centered learning. I know a lot of us, sometimes the kids are like, oh, I don't know how to do this. And you're like, I'll do it. No, let them do it. Let them figure it out. Let them mess it up. And then interactions with STEM professionals. I agree, Tony Stark is the coolest engineer ever. Will all help create STEM positive students. So next slide. So talking about engineering, we know that most students don't know engineers. You know, here on the in Massachusetts, it's hard to imagine because every other person I know is an engineer or a technical professional, but not everywhere in the world is in Cambridge, Mass. And a lot of students don't have access to that. So how do we share that engineering is creative, that engineering is about teamwork, not about someone sitting in a room by themselves doing math problems? And also how engineers can make a difference. And Rebecca just said, we also need to show how it relates to real life. It's exactly true. What are the issues and the problems that engineers are working on, that you're working on, and showing them and sharing with them, and not just what you're doing, but why you're doing it. Why are you spending all your time solving this problem? And who is it helping? And if we do all those things, dun, 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 dun. Oh, and that's just a little snapshot. You can also go to discovery.org and either go to the teach section or the volunteer section, and you'll see a whole slideshow on engineering messages to share, along with different videos. So you can explore that at your leisure. It'll take you about 10 minutes or so if you want to go there and learn more. But if we do this, if we just spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes talking about engineering, they can start to see the value in engineering. We can promote their interest, and we can start creating that sense of belonging. So Sarah, do you want to talk about the next piece of the stool?
I do. I just want to shout out in the back of this picture that this is Dr. Mike, who is on our board of, not just on our board of directors, like leading our board of directors here at DiscoverE. And he always makes me smile. He's such a positive guy. And so love to see that. Yeah. So, you know, again, as Thea said, we have several pieces to this formula here, and one of them is hands-on activities. I mean, speaking from as a teacher, as somebody who went through years of training and working through the master's program, kids learn through play. I think we all learn through play. I think engineers would tell you that oftentimes, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like play, they learn through play too. So looking at a variety of different activities is going to be really important. Getting hands-on. Yeah, sometimes it is really nice to do a cool demonstration if you're in front of a large group of kids, but the more that you can actually engage kids to be hands-on, the more that they're going to remember the full experience and be able to take that forward. So you're going to be asking, like, what is the purpose of this activity that I'm doing with kids? And, you know, is it just that it's something cool, or is this something that kids are going to be able to relate to? I think, you know, Rebecca said importantly that we need to show how engineering relates to real life. I can think about one of our Girl Day grantees in the past works with girls groups to do makeup. They make cosmetics, and so important. And then another thing that you can look at is, does it follow the design process? Really, engineering and kind of a larger theme in education is that we don't just want to teach kids to replicate something. They're not manufacturing students. We want to teach them the theories around why we do things. So talking through and verbalizing as you're going through an activity. I mean, depending on the age of kids that you're talking to, I wonder what problem this would solve, and talking through, identify the problem, then thinking through the specifications, brainstorm solutions. We have a variety of graphics that can also kind of help you. It's got some, there's a video here that's linked on our website. And then I also have some other graphics that ask specific questions that might help you with this. And I think the other piece that's really important about the engineering design process is that it's circular. really the limitation is budget or time. I think we can all agree with that in real world learning, whether you're an engineer or not. And so going through that iteration process of, you're going to design it, you're going to try to build it out, you're going to test it and try to break it, and then redesign it. And then you get to share it, and letting kids actually say why they valued, why they got to the end stage that they got to. And as you're going through that process with students, can you weave in engineering messages? Can you talk about how you, something that we talk about in education is name and nurture. So when you notice kids being collaborative, shout that out to them. Say, hey, I really like how these two are working together. Or when you see kids really thinking creatively or outside of the box, or really taking knowledge that they have from something else and applying it in a new and novel way, say that. That can really shift a student who doesn't see themselves as a math or science student into, oh, wait, this is valuable in this line of work. Well, I do that all the time. I could do this. I'm thinking a week ago, we had a Chats with Changemaker episode, and Emily Rose was our guest from the Society of Mining Metallurgy. Oh, I'm not going to remember all of it. SME.
Yeah, Society of Mining Metallurgy, engineering.
Engineer. The E is for engineering. Wow. I should really know that one. And she talked about, getting an experience in school that really forced her to think, okay, no, maybe this is me. Maybe I could do this too. And so, that's so important that you're naming and nurturing those pieces. If you're looking for STEM activities, if you're like, oh, that sounds really great, but I do not. Oh, exploration. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. Mining, metallurgy, exploration.
Exploration, yeah.
You guys are the best. Thanks for helping me with that. If you're looking for STEM activities, we have tons of them. We have 173, and you can filter in all kinds of ways. And our activities actually start to name out those processes of the engineering design process. So let me show you how to get there on the website, because this is a really good one. When you're at DiscoverE.org, STEM activities is the very middle of the top of the page. And you can go through and you can see, first off, you can go see Emily's challenge video because she was amazing. And we have some new activities for the high school level, but you can pick all kinds of different things. And if you look at the instructions, there's all the materials that you need. We have student versions that you could print off and give to students. And so you can see brainstorm, this is thinking it through, then build it, then test it, evaluate, make changes, try again. We also have an instructor's guide that gives a little bit more detail if you want that. It is there also. So there's all kinds of STEM activities that are there and ready for you to use. And please use them. We would love for you to use them, and then send us pictures of you using them, because we want to know if we're making more, we make more activities every year. What are the kinds of activities that you're looking for? And a great way for us to know is what are the activities that you're using. So help us do that. So we have a question for you. Bob's already light years ahead of all of us. What are some of your favorite activities? You can go to the Padlet. I'm
dumping it in the chat right now. So there's the link in the chat.
There's the link in the chat. And you can use the plus button down here in the corner, and you can put some of your favorite STEM activities. Oh, we can already see people typing. This is exciting. So many of you. This is great. Your activities are going to show up here, and then we can start to shout them out.
Oh, nice.
Rube Goldberg machines. We love a Rube Goldberg machine because they're so creative, and you can use anything, right? I think that's from being a public school teacher, where so many of these supplies that we did came out of, our own pockets, being able to just dump a box like from that, we've all seen Apollo 13, right? Yeah. Dump out a box of stuff and just go, okay, make a bridge, or, build a skyscraper, or marshmallow, the spaghetti marshmallow towers. Have you ever done that one, Thea? That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And they say kindergartners are the best and business MBA students are the worst.
Yep. Liquid nitrogen ice cream.
Liquid nitrogen ice cream.
And I have a really funny liquid nitrogen story from when I worked at the Museum of Science.
I'm going to need the liquid nitrogen ice cream volunteer to come to our Christmas party and teach us that one in person. That would be great. Lego.
One
Lego
thing
robotics.
I'm just going to interrupt you, Sarah. One thing
Please.
for everyone to note about the DiscoverE activities are that we work really hard to make sure that all of the resources and materials are very low cost or just household items. Like you were saying, you just dump out that box of materials. We don't really want you to have to buy specialized materials. Sometimes if it's a really cool activity, we'll be like, okay, that one's so cool. It does deserve like a heat lamp for you to do some testing, but really try and do that. Look at that.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm seeing tinfoil boat, Monica. Thank you for putting that in chat. Cub Scout troop had genius nights. We love a genius night. They're so much fun. Balloon driven cars for first graders. Thank you, Lou. Yes. Pipe insulation rockets. Thank you, Connie. What was the one that I saw up here? Strand Beast. Have you ever seen these, Thea? I'm sure that some of you have seen these videos. There's a guy, I think he travels all over the world, but like specifically long sandy beaches, and he builds these great beasts out of like balsa wood and like
I have seen
rubber
him.
bands.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I have seen him. Yeah.
They're so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
And water distribution systems. Keep adding to this. We will go through this. This will stay up, and we will go through and try to link what activities we already have in case you're looking to link other activities. Teacher's time is Dr. Mike. Shout out, Dr. Mike. Did you see your photo earlier? It's nice to see you here. Dr. Mike, our board president, has just something good that I wanted to say. These are great ideas being shared, but it starts with us. And by us, he means you all. Often just showing up and sharing a baseline is enough to spark an interest in students. Teachers' time is precious. So any support truly helps when it's plug and play, when you can show up with a box of goodies from Dollarama and have something ready to go. Oh my gosh, those were my favorite days as a teacher. And also, let me also say this. You may have some imposter syndrome that you don't know that you going into a classroom is a great idea, or you don't know what you would say. Kids hear from their teachers all the time. You can be anything. You can do whatever you want to do. Go and try for these amazing jobs and careers that are going to give you stability and that are going to creatively challenge you and collaboratively challenge you. But hearing it from somebody who's actually doing it is really what makes the difference. Much like moms and parents, students tune teachers out real quick. So having people come in and actually speak to what they do and get excited about projects that they're working on professionally, it doesn't matter if the kids understand like the details of what you're doing. They will get excited because you're excited, and they will see themselves because you are there to show that mirror of what you can do. So please, 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 if you can, try to get out there. There's still lots of Zoom opportunities to Zoom in. If you're too busy at work and you can't get away, reach out to a teacher and see if you can Zoom in. That's great too. I'm
just gonna, just the design challenge that we see up there, challenges that involve a story.
Yes.
Participants will use design process to solve a problem with a story. A lot of our, most of our activities have a built-in reason why they're working on the challenge. That's particularly important for girls. They want to know why they're working on this problem and is it worth their time. But we just partnered with the Project Management Institute, their educational foundation, and have 3 new activities for upper, middle, and high school, which are all built around a large challenge. So one challenge is to design a net zero tiny home. Another challenge is to find a better use for rain. What's an issue in your community on rain, and what can they do to solve that within their community? And that's even design challenges is a filter on our website. So,
and popsicle stick catapults, love it. Catapults, K-12 and university. You can take a catapult craft into any classroom anywhere in the world. with no matter what age kids, they're going to love it. So special shout out to that one. We love that. Okay. Thank you for shouting all of that out. As Thea said, we have a variety of activities that are up there. And some of our activities actually have engineers from our Chats with Changemakers program who introduce these. So I wanted to play for you a little snippet. I've already talked to you guys about Emily and how amazing she was. This is only a week old. So probably your kids haven't seen this one, even if you're doing activities from our page regularly. But this is A Winch Lightens the Load with our new look for Chats with Changemakers.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Rose, and I am a mining geotechnical engineer and a member of the Society of Mining, Metallurgy, and Exploration, also known as SME. And today I have a great engineering challenge for you. We're going to build a simple machine that can help move material up and down. In my work, we use head frames to hoist machinery, materials, and people into and out of mines all across the world. So your challenge is going to design a well wench that hauls buckets up and down without spilling any of the contents inside.
So Emily goes on. That video, as you can see, is about 3 minutes long. Emily gets to go on a little bit, and we lay out everything on the screen there. So all of the materials and everything else that's needed. If you're an educator or you have kids at home, you can sign up to find out. We do 9 or 10 of these episodes a year, and one a month. And you should participate in those live also, because that's another really great way. If you're a teacher or if you know a teacher, send them the link for Chats with Changemakers, because they're really great to have in and for your group to watch live, and then you can do the activity with your class. So I would highly encourage Chats with Changemakers. Oh, keep going. Next page. There we go. So, Dee, were you going to say something? No? Okay, great. Action. So when you're doing engineering I love this picture so much. This is, for those of you who don't know, this wonderful, smiley little human is Thea's daughter. I mean, she's a freshman in college now, but
yeah, the picture's a little old.
She's a little bit older, but I'm sure that's how Thea still sees her. So exactly. You are going to be doing engineering activities, and you are going to see students develop confidence in their skills, not just in actually the activity itself, but in being able to talk through their thinking, collaborate, be creative, thinking outside the box, taking ideas from other areas and things that they've learned and applying it to whatever problem they've got at hand. Kids do this naturally. Kids play and learn all the time, and kids are doing this in digital worlds through things like Minecraft and SimCity and Roblox. And so we know that they can do them in physical environments as well. And so, making that apparent to kids that you have confidence in them, and then they will have more confidence in themselves. It can also promote their interest in STEM. Some kids might not think of themselves as an engineer. So being able to create their STEM identity is so important. But really, when you get to go and talk about a project that you're working on or something that you're passionate about, they get to see what the value in engineering is, which is not that it is some esoteric and ephemeral, thing where somebody sits in an office. Some engineers do, but they're all working on valuable things that support, the citizenry of the area that they're working in and the fields that they're working in. So, seeing value in engineering is really, really critical for kids to set that in their mind and then aim for that star.
Right. So I think we already found out a lot of your activities.
We did. I just love this picture.
Yeah, no, this is
a picture.
Our partners at Collins do amazing introduce a girl to engineering day activities all over the world, and they share their pictures with us, which we love. So thank you, Collins. All right, the last piece of the formula we're going to talk about is interactions with STEM professionals. This is really, you hear about role models, you hear about near peer mentoring. You hear about mentoring, all of those things. And sometimes we think it has to be something, you can go to the next slide, that is like, a really in-depth experience, but it could be as little as 10 minutes or as much as 5 months, anywhere in between, whatever your schedule allows. But in our annual survey, this number doesn't change. About 75% of our educators report that their students don't have that many opportunities to meet an engineer or a technical professional. But they also, almost 100%, 9 out of 10 educators say meeting an engineer is important. So for this next section, we're going to ask you to go to a different Padlet, a second Padlet. And Sarah, would you dump that in the chat? But the question is, there's a question for educators and there's a question for volunteers. So if you're a volunteer, just put volunteer answer at the top of your answer. How or where do educators or museum and library staff find volunteers to visit? How do they invite them in, and what can they expect from a volunteer? So rather than us telling you, we want you to tell each other, right? And educators, what would you tell a prospective volunteer about how best to connect with an educator or after-school provider? And what should they say and what should they offer? We also know that there's, that this is kind of a crazy years. We're all kind of coming back from COVID. How can they best support, how can volunteers best support educators in classrooms and after school and out of school time learning? And volunteers, what do you need to know from the educators about what it's like to help them and to support the work that they do? So while you're answering those questions, we're going to reach out to parents who may work in those careers and be willing to come in and help. Yes, that is excellent advice. Huge. Let's let them type and we'll go to a couple slides. We want you to keep thinking about this and noodling on this. And this is going to be an important resource for all of us as we go. But the reason that connecting students with role models, and this is really where it all comes together, right? You talk about engineering, you do the hands-on activities, you let the kids do the student-centered learning, but yet when they connect with a technician, a technical professional, or an engineer, a college student who's going into engineering, that really helps them. Number one, we see a huge spike in interest in STEM right away. All of a sudden, they're like, hey, kind of interesting. They start to see the value in engineering. They start to develop networks because now all of a sudden they have somebody. They start to develop confidence. You're just planting a seed. And it's not a seed that you can plant once. It's a seed that we need to plant and water and nurture over and over again. So if you visit a 5th grade, classroom in 2021, you got to do it in 2022, because you know what? There's a whole new batch of 5th graders. Every year they change over. And the same with educators and, after school. It's Engineers Week and Girl Day come around every single year. And they've been going on. Engineers Week started in 1952. And we're still doing it. And it's 2023 almost. Engineers Week 2023. So this need is not going to go away, and really connecting students. And whether you do it virtually, whether you do it in person, whether however you show a child what engineering looks like, that's a success. So next slide. So here's some ideas of different things you can do during Engineers Week, and ideas to connect students with engineering. Hey, STEM volunteers, you can do activities with students in a classroom or after school visit. Set up a classroom visit. Teachers, do hands-on engineering and invite an engineer or a technical professional into your classroom to talk about your job. STEM volunteers present engineering careers to kids, and we also have a career section of our website. It's the most popular section of DiscoverE.org. So people are hungry about what do engineering and technical field careers look like, and we've also expanded that career section. So it's not just what does engineering look like with a 4-year degree, but what will a 2-year degree? What can you do with a 2-year degree? What can you do with a high school diploma in the engineering community? Teachers, you can form a Future City team. and compete, or you can sign up for Future City and get the resources. It's a fabulous program, which we'll talk about a little bit longer. Volunteers, engineers, and technical professionals, be a judge for a science fair or for the Future City competition, or be a mentor for Future City, even better. We're still looking for mentors. A lot of you with COVID restrictions, you couldn't invite students to your workplace or on your college campus, but we're hoping those are being lifted. Or even could you do a virtual event? Go on a field trip to your local museum or library or local engineering company. They're love to host. Or organize an engineering event at your school or after school. I organized an engineers night every year at my daughter's school in elementary school, and just set up 5 different booths and had a parent behind each table. Very easy activities. The PTO bought pizza for everybody who came to the evening event. And I started that when she was in kindergarten. She is now a freshman in college, and I'm happy to report that that event is still going on at the school, and I am not organizing it because it was the most popular event at the school. And every year a new parent picked it up. I just gave them a notebook of how to do it, and they've been adding activities ever since. Next slide. Museums and libraries, how do you get people in the door? You know, create a book display, drop in engineering activity hours or workshops during Engineers Week, ask volunteers to come in and staff stations and demos, or host that family engineering festival. Again, it can be as simple as just a few different activity tables organized by local organizations. Your local college or your local engineering company might be willing to come in and sponsor those events as well. So I think we're going to go check in on their answers.
Absolutely. Oh,
Oh
look at
my
how many there
God.
are.
This is awesome.
Future City, you're going to see this several times. Future City is looking, currently actively searching for mentors. So if that's something that you're interested in, it's maybe not as big of a time commitment as you might think that it is, if that's what's holding you back. So reach out. You can email us and we can help you figure that out, or you can go to futurecity.org and learn more about it there. Okay, so let's go through and read some of these. A STEM volunteer answer, reach out to a STEM outreach coordinator. So there are local folks at all Boeing locations. That's great. Shout out to Boeing. Share on social media and local media, like working professionals who are looking to volunteer near work or home. Yeah, LinkedIn is a really great place to share this kind of information. Local construction projects. Absolutely. That's a really
good idea.
Again, any kid of any age up to the university age would love to go and see big tractors and stuff at work. They love to go see it. Somebody says, I work for a gas and electric utility, and DEI council is a great way to find volunteers. That's such a good point. When you're looking locally, you can kind of Google in DEI and see who serves on their board or who serves in their local group. That's a great way to reach out. And Lori is shouting that out too in the chat. Thank you for that, Lori. Reach out to local engineering firms and utilities. That's fantastic. Educators, an educator says, please email your nearest school offering your time and expertise, and reach out to after school programs as well. That's right. It is so important that you reach out to classroom-based teachers, but there's all kinds of educational programs that you can reach out to. After school programs are so critical. There's so many kids in after school programs who need to see themselves represented and need to see themselves encouraged to go into STEM programs. So do that. Coast Guard and Armed Forces. Yeah, I was talking about the Army Corps of Engineers earlier. Their pizza activity alone is really fantastic. Reading. There's
the one where it's reach out to professional organizations, right? So there's your local society of women engineers. There's your local society of civil engineers, of electrical engineers, of all the different types of engineering. They have local volunteers who most likely want to come into your classroom. Your local community college, your local university. And I love the answer about your gas and electric utility. Think about all of those local engineering companies in your area. And you can even just type in engineering firms near me, and Google will do most of the work for you. Or local engineering societies near me. And it will often take you right to the website, and you can call them up. And Yo 4-H, go. 4-H is a great resource, but it's like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, 4-H, Girls Inc., all of those different organizations were all doing it. And I think the most important thing to know, don't do it alone. You do not have to do this by yourself. Engineers and potential volunteers, find a buddy to do this if it's your first time, and we hear that a lot. And educators, don't be scared to ask. People do want to help you. We know you're overburdened. We know how hard this year is for you all. So there's people out there who want to help lighten your load and make that lift a little easier for you.
Yeah, I've seen several people shout out local universities. One of my favorite answers here was postdocs at universities are a really great way. They really need, they get a little bit jaded in the postdoc field, and they need a little bit of like childhood humanity, a little bit of childlike wonder infused back into them. So it's a symbiotic relationship. Somebody hosted a virtual cooking club and talked about the Fallout games. So really like specific niche video game, and talking about the science of radiation. The Fallout system, the Fallout games are, post-apocalyptic video game. And so what a great way to connect to an interest that kids already have. As a teacher, I am so thrilled to see that one in there. Girl Scouts, love it. The engineering alphabet soup, Meg says, of all the different orgs. We love to see that. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out in chat, Susan Hoops is our director of programs here, and she shared the email addresses. If you're interested in Future City mentoring or judging, you can visit futurecity.org, and she popped a couple of email addresses in there that you can reach out. Is there a list of professional engineers organizations? Just Google like professional engineers.
If you go to the About Us page of DiscoverE, you can see all of our coalition members. So scroll down. So right there's our diversity council. That's a whole number of them. And you can see SHIP and SWE, and then our coalition down below lists all of the different, keep scrolling, it's right there, all of the different organizations that we work with. And this is a great first place to just kind of say, oh, I wonder if there's somebody near me, because we saw in the Padlet, the vice president of outreach for SWE in Houston was like, I do so many events and I would love to connect with the local educators in the Houston area. And yay, you in Houston, go. But there's SWE chapters all over the country. There are NSBE, Society of Black Engineer chapters all over the country. There Society of Civil Engineers, Electrical Engineers, Mechanical Engineers. So it is an alphabet soup, but here we have the alphabet all laid out for you in alphabetical order. So you can see more about that.
That's awesome.
Sarah, do you want to switch over? I think we can skip the next slide and go right into Future City.
Yeah, so Future City, Future City starts with a question, which is, in 100 years from now, what is the world going to look like, and what are cities going to need to look like in order to be thriving in the world that's going to be there? And so student teams at the middle school level, so grades 6 to 8, imagine, design, and build cities that exist 100 years in the future. So educators are going to lead teams. And when we say educators, we don't necessarily just mean classroom teachers, after school program educators, community orgs, homeschool co-ops, anybody who works with students in that capacity can lead a team. And then volunteers serve as mentors and judges. The cost is very low. We want to keep it as low as we can. So it's $25 per organization. So if you have a local scout group that has 3 teams, it's only $25. It's not $75. If you work at a school that has 2 grade 6, 7 classes, then it's still only $25. mentors for your school. So you can find out more at futurecity.org. It is a beautiful website that just got launched yesterday, I think, or Monday, maybe. So you can find out more there, including where your region is. There are two ways that you can participate in Future City. The first is through the competition. Regional competitions happen in January, and the winners of the regional competitions get invited to the national competition, which happens during Engineers Week in February in Washington, D.C. And we cannot wait to meet the finalist teams for this upcoming year. So go and register. Educator registration is only open until October 31st. There's only 11 more days. So go and register.
Maureen just put in the chat that they're looking for volunteers for Future City mentors in Greater Milwaukee. And mentor registration and judge registration does not close on October 31st when educator registration closes. It continues on throughout the whole competition. And I just noticed a typo on this slide, so apologies.
Love that. And then another program that we have, I've already talked about it, is Chats with Changemakers. As a classroom teacher, it's one of my favorite things that I got to use with my students. Kavya, who is a SWE Nexter, shout out, I saw several people from SWE in chat today. Kavya is a SWE Nexter. She is a grade 11 student who interviews professional engineers and tech folks in order to find out more about them, and classrooms and engineers all over get to zoom in and watch this live. And then of course we put it onto YouTube. So if you can't watch it live, that's okay. You can share it with kids that you care about later. Our next session is November 3rd. Lovi Bhatia is a project manager who led global initiatives at Airbnb. And that one's going to be really fantastic. I'm excited for that one. Another thing that we do is the Persist series. This is Dr. Paige Brown, and she is going to be in our first episode of this year's Persist series, which is November 9th. This is a series of conversations for engineering and tech women that offer actionable career advice. It's Amy, yes, you love this series. We're so glad to hear that. It's so close to our hearts and the work that we're doing here. Meg, that's great. We're so glad that you enjoy it. So the very first episode is November 9th. We can't wait to see you all there.
Yeah, join Amy and Meg. It's a fun time and it's very invigorating. And each topic we designed, so there's a little that we want career advice for anybody. I'm not an engineer, but every time I listen to it, I get kind of like, okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to think about that. How can I, as a human, develop what I need to grow a little bit more?
Yeah. And so Dr. Paige Brown will be our first guest. And then our host is changing slightly this year also. Camila is going to be our new host, who was a guest she'll tell you, she's quite proud to tell you, our most highly watched episode of Chats with Changemakers. And she is wonderful. We're so excited to see her lead the live discussion for the Chats episode on November 9th. We can't wait to see you there. World Engineering Day, March 4th. Put it on your calendar. I mean, it's always March 4th, but put it on your calendars. If it wasn't there, just permanently. We're going to celebrate engineering worldwide. Literally from the moment I wake up, there's already stuff being posted from other parts of the world on all of the social medias. And I love it so much. You can find social media resources on our website. And you can find so much more about us. Please go and follow us in these places that you can get more about ways that we can support you and other amazing things that are going on. DiscoverE.org, pretty much everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, some hashtags if you want to use them, eWeek 2023, hashtag creating the future, hashtag Girl Day 2023. Do you have any questions? Because we're at the end.
I know. And we realize that it's 1 o'clock and, we only wanted an hour of your time. Thanks, Lou. Thanks, Tracy. If you have any, pop them in the question box. The chat has been on fire.
Yeah.
But the question and answers has not, which is fine. That means that everything was happening in the chat and our Padlets were new this year. So we hadn't tried those before. But if you do have one, let us know. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day.